Why have you given up your concert activity?
Do you want the sort of obligatorily polite answers or the real ones?
We can go on.
The real ones. All right. Because it was an enormously wasteful life, for me at any rate. I think also for most people who participate in it. It seemed like a terribly shallow and unproductive kind of existence, and it was an existence that I didn't really hew to for very long, you know. So in that sense, I was not really prepared to enjoy the experience of the public, the curious kind of arena-like blood sport atmosphere of concert giving. And, pardon me, excuse me, when it was thrust upon me very suddenly, I found it an appalling experience, really, and essentially anti-musical, and determined that it was worth, you know, an experimental series of years and tours, and gave it its chance, and continued to find it appalling.
But already at that time, you would have preferred to do without it.
Oh, yeah. I made some sort of mad prediction when I was 25 that I was going to retire at 30, and I didn't make it. I was 32 when I retired. I think that the concert is an antiquarian format, totally outdated, utterly without relevance to mid-20th century or middle-late 20th century life. I certainly feel that very strongly, and did at the time that I was giving them, so I was giving very dishonest concerts, presumably.
You don't feel a need to have direct communication with the public?
None at all.
Do you mean?
I feel, in fact, that I have, to the extent that it's available to me, a much more direct means of communication through recording, through the camera. If you sit in the Tchaikovsky Hall in Moscow, you're going to have to reach that man up there at the back, you know, and you're going to have to inflect, you're going to have to breathe with every minutiae of the movement, which isn't the way the microphone recognizes musical phenomena, isn't the way the camera picks it up. The camera is a close-up vehicle, essentially. The microphone is a close-up vehicle. Bach was writing for ears that were close by his instruments, you know. And I think that one could make certain exceptions. One could make the obvious exception of Wagner and Bayreuth, of certain houses built to house certain, you know, structures. But by and large, the concert is utterly dead as a means by which to creatively or recreatively present music. Because there is no way, there is simply no scientific, acoustical, human way in which those events, no matter how glamorous, no matter how dramatic, can equal what one can do in the privacy, in the hermetically sealed privacy of this studio.
As I understand, we are very far from personal reasons. You really found this conception of your activity on objective or musical reasons.
Yeah, happily, I eventually found an aesthetic logic that substantiated what I wanted to feel inside.